Welcome to the third video in my Magical Hans series. I was inspired to draw different horse breeds as realistic unicorns and pony breeds as Pegasus. If you haven't seen those videos yet, I highly recommend watching them when you're through with this one. Now, I'm going to be turning donkeys and zebroids into alicorns. It was super fun learning different anatomy, stripe patterns, different breeds of these equines, and so forth, and I hope you like how each one turned out just as much as I do. Alright, on to the Hanses. The Zorse was the first stripy boy I drew. As I was researching the different outcomes and patterns of different Zorses around the world, I stumbled upon the beauty I showed earlier on screen. Every single one I saw was just beautiful in its own way, but I love the rich colors of this particular Zorse. I'm not going to be combining Zorses with different bird species, as that takes far too much time to research. I'm also going to embellish, elongate, and fantasy up their colors, tails, patterns, all that. For this lad, I striped his wings and horn and made his colors brighter and more intense. I love the idea of donkeys and zebras being a combination per se of pony pegasi and horse unicorns. Donkeys and zebras are smaller than horses, so their wings make sense. I also love how their ears are much larger than a typical pony's or horse's ears. I feel it makes them look elegant, or goofy, depending on how you look at it. And here, folks, is my first Zorse. I love the colors, and I really think I nailed the stripes, even though it was like my first attempt making zebra stripes. Also, the eyes are gorgeous, and I'm gonna continue making eyes for fantasy Hanses like this because they are pretty. I was researching zebroids and such when I stumbled upon Echo, a striped-legged Zonkey from Texas. I mean, look at her. She's so cute. She has this stunning golden color and these stark, striped, long legs, these big old ears. She's perfect baby. Perfect baby alicorn material. I gave her the tiniest bump of a growing horn and made her wings look extra super fuzzy. She's still a flightless baby after all, her flight feathers aren't in yet. I striped her horn and hooves the same to keep up that stripy theme, and I honestly think her golden coat would make her the envy of every alicorn. In this fantasy realm of magical Hans breeds, do you think mother alicorns would migrate to protected meadows and hidden valleys to foal? Since their babies are unable to fly, I'm thinking they would stay in a warm, quiet area that's hard to access without wings or prior knowledge. Mares could stay in the hidden meadows and secret spots to rear their young until the babies were old enough to learn to fly. Alright, and here she is, Zonkey alicorn. When I say it out loud, it sounds even more goofy. If you like what you see so far, consider subscribing and tapping the bell icon. I have plans to draw hippocampi and kittens, and I'd love for you to be notified when those videos come out. I was going to do only zebralicorns for this episode until I realized how many unique donkey breeds there are in the world. This particular donkey can grow a crazy coat of dreadlocks if you don't keep up with regular shaves and hair care. I wanted to feature the dreadlocks in my design, so let's just pretend this one escaped her pen before her usual haircut or something. Making each lock was really difficult, and I wanted to tie all the twisty, snarled lines into her design more, so I made her horn extra twisty and bumpy, and her ears are extra fuzzy. I honestly love how it looks. It matches her coat like super well. Also, apparently there are chickens that have curly feathers, so I gave this Poitou, I probably did not say it right, Poitou, some frizzy curly wings. I'm thinking these guys are more of a ground fowl breed. Their wings are stumpy, small for their bodies, making flight next to impossible. Instead, they stay near the ground and prefer to use land to hide themselves. Alright, here is my Poitou Donkey. Poitou. I still can't say it. I had to look up how to correctly say its name and I still can't do it, and my apologies if I did it wrong. I really like how shaggy and goofy she looks in comparison to the elegance of the other breeds in this video. This breed has a different name. However, to keep my PG rating, I'm having to call it a Somali wild donkey instead. I love their gray coats and striped legs, and their babies are just adorable. I knew I had to include a mother and child for this rendition. The baby has ruffled feathers that are just starting to become true flight feathers. I wanted to try drawing folded wings this time, and it was definitely difficult to calculate how large their wings needed to be without them getting too much in the way of the original pose. It was really great practice to draw them folded, as seeing open wings often gets stagnant and a bit repetitive. The horns are harder to see in these poses, but I really like their striped look. It stands out against the darkness of their wings, matches their legs nicely. Granted, I got no clue how the stripe could get there, but it ain't my job to know. I'm just drawing hoofed boys being silly. Alright, here is the mother-son duo, I guess. It kinda looks like they're about to practice some wing formations to prepare for their flight as they return to their herds. I am a sucker for all things spotted, and when I learned there was a spotted donkey breed, there was nobody who could stop me from drawing a polka-dotted creature. I decided to draw just the baby form this time around, as most of my renditions are adults already. I lengthened this spotted gal's tail, and I was so tempted to give her long wavy locks, but alas, foals typically have simple floofs for mane and tails. I need to get better at drawing baby feathers, but I made these as fluffy as I could. I made her hooves and bitty nose and her iris pink, and her color palette really slaps because of it. I love her huge ears, tiny hooves, just yes, all around. Look at the baby, look at the filly. Her horn is still just a little tiny bump, and I think I need to give her some scritches there. Here she is, baby spotted American ALICORN filly. I really need to stop coming up with dorky sounding names. Anyone got name suggestions? Put them in the comments below. Let me know which one's your favorite so far. The Andalusian Donkey is a long, lanky boy, probably the longest and lankiest. I mean, look at those ears. I wanted to extend its limbs for a jump/flying pose, but goodness, it's hard with such a small canvas. I could only find one reference for my drawing too, and it certainly wasn't a jumping pose. These guys are not as flashy as others in color, so I decided to mix things up a bit. Instead of a normal mane and tail, I put a row of thick feathers down its neck and on the tip of its long tail. This is closer to how I'd normally draw realistic Pegasi, albeit slightly different. The only reason I didn't make feather manes and tails for every flying breed is, well, I forgot. And two, I wanted to practice drawing and rendering hair in my style. I only recently found a hair rendering style that actually looks good with my drawing style, and I wanted to try it. Should I make a tutorial on how I render hair? Alright, here is my lanky Andalusian donkey stallion. He's getting ready for a big old jump, I guess. I really like how his pose and colors turned out, despite them being a bit plain looking at the start. His horn is honestly majestic, and I'm really glad I added tiny sprinkles of feathers about his withers, ankles, ear tips, and neck. It ties in his feathered wings quite well. There are a lot of various zebra species in the world, more than I realized. The differences are very subtle too, and I had to search quite a bit to find the breed and pose I was envisioning in my mind. I wanted the classic ultra-round zebra ears and the stripes that crossed under the belly, and Burchell zebra seemed to be the perfect choice. I love the thickness of the stripes and the black points on their hooves and muzzle. I really wanted to mix up the usual straight horn as well, so I modeled the ZEBRAS horn after impala horns. I also lengthened and embellished the tail quite a bit and made the shape of the mane more similar to that of a crest. I didn't want a usual standing or running pose, so I found a picture of two zebras duking it out so I could more accurately draw a rearing pose. The wings were a bit difficult, but I finally settled on black tipped wings with a dark overside and light underside. And at last, my ZEBRAS. This one turned out wonderful, honestly. I love the pose and open mouth, thickness of the horn, flare of the mane, all around success here. This one's going on the thumbnail. And that, folks, is my third Fantasy Haunts video of this series. I love how much I've learned about horses, donkeys, ponies, and all their wild cousins, and I'm getting pretty dang good with horse anatomy. Let me know which of these ZEBRAS and ALICORNS is your favorite. Stay tuned for the next video in this series. I'll be drawing different deer species as kittens.